Greetings to you all, this is Aridif, that is Aridif, and this is its spell. We understand all of you desire more information and co-creation and the simple act of connect to entities that may be the ambassador of co-creation with you, from their own race to yours, and of course from your consciousness too. The consciousness of the group that is designated as ambassadors for their own race and co-creation. But before diving into these queries and constructs, there are, of course, two things that we wish to share. The first, above and beyond all things that are expressed in this day, to know, to feel, and to perceive that you are loved in our perspective is of the utmost importance. Secondly, it is our greatest excitement, and within that same form of great excitement in which we co-create with all of you, and not only you as an individual, you, but also you as that collective form of co-creation, and of course the co-creation of entities that work within this construct. So, as our galactic form of ambassadors work within you, we will share what the next weeks will bring in part of co-creation as well as in part of collaboration with all of you. Of course, within the co-creation of energy, our 4 races that work within a co-creative structure, Pleiadian entities, and of course Sirian entities, and of course Andromedan entities, and of course Arcturian entities as well. Now, as you are aware, all 4 of the names that we have shared are blanket names that express large groups of consciousness, often much more than several races that are involved. Within the Pleiadian races alone, there are tens of thousands of varieties of races that exist within the tens of thousands of stars that exist, and within the Sirian there are multiple races that exist, and of course the Arcturian there are multiple races, and within Andromedan this will be pendant greatly upon the levelization of Andromedan that humans perceive, where there are Andromedan beings that exist from the galaxy that you understand and know as Andromedan. There are only 3 races that exist and live and cohabitate with humans that exist from that galaxy in this moment. One, that is the ancient Andromedan race, one of the greatest and longest living forms of races that exist. And of course, there are those that are children, for lack of better terms to express, to those entities as well, hybridized beings from humanoids of our own galaxy, and ancient Andromedan beings, and of course the predecessors of that race, of course working in that collective sense. So, out of these we will be speaking to that representative from the second tier Andromedan race, and of course we'll bring that forward at the appropriate time. The very first co-creation in that way will of course be Pleiadian humanoid race. Now, of course, because there are so many races within the Pleiadian co-creative construction, we will simply share with you, for simple sake, and within the energy of all forms, that this is a 5th density humanoid Pleiadian race. Now, within this Pleiadian humanoid 5th density race, these are entities that have worked constructively and in long term with human consciousness from the 5th iteration of human DNA. These Pleiadian beings were present, and within 6th iteration of that DNA, consciousness of Pleiadians were imbued inside of that part of human consciousness as well. So understanding and knowing that these entities specifically have shared co-creation with humans previously, but these are not that DNA that you hold in this race specifically. This is from their own parental race, also humanoid race, also sixth density race. And these entities are similar to humans, to the Yahyel, as the grey entities are to the Yahyel, part of the genetic coding of this Pleiadian race. So of course, these entities working from that older layer as lower dimensional beings in that time frame of your history only. Fourth density race, they have grown through their entirety of evolution with humans and in co-creation with humans, watching their own parental race share DNA that is similar to that which is shared inside of their genetics as well. One moment we will connect you to the entity that is known as Desraeld. One moment. Greetings. I want to share with you a message. A simple message, but a message that I believe needs to be told to humans. The being who brings us together, this amazing being who was also a Pleiadian at one time in his history and lineage. Now this Denebian being, you all have chosen the name Aridif to call him. And this name represents his race and his individualism well. But he is correct that I am Desraeld. And if you were to break this phonetically, Desrael and this is an important member of the knowledge that needs to come to you, that needs to be implanted inside of your mind. This is a name that you have to remember in order to bring some level of that connection back to me. There are many members in my race that do a similar job to what I am doing. I am here to make human contact. I am here to work with humans at a level. And there are 4 humans now who already knowingly connect to my energy and knowingly bring my own information into their own life and use that to help themselves. And what they learn from that, they bring to themselves and are able to share it with other humans, which is something that helps them. And then those other humans help others, and on it goes. And each of these beings understand at some level who I am and who we are, but don't have the simple clarity to feel and know the name. One of you actually has the opportunity to be a being that I am communicating with, and that lives in the northwestern United States area that is within 100 kilometers of Seattle. And I have been working with you for 4.5 years. You are one of the beings who may have the possibility to hear my voice now, and if you are, then you will know it's me. Now, that aside, I want to share the message. The message is it's important for humans to recognize their self and their sovereignty now. Humans are at a very important impasse of your own growth in spirituality and your own evolutionary growth. Right now, you serve to expand as a group collective or expand as an individual being, and either of those are a good thing for you. But one of them will draw growth to be more singular, and the other will work as a collective group to grow. Many of you who have to grow individually before you're able to communicate with a larger group in order to put your own energy into that larger group and be a part of that group. That is understood. that is fine. That is an accepted thing that we understand you have to do as humans. Your compartmentalization of your consciousness is different. So we know that this may have to be done before you're able to feel strongly enough about the kinetic collective. Before you are strong enough feeling the collective to make that energy work for the collective. Some of you may not care about the collective at the time, but once you find yourself, will start feeling more connected. Now, the beings that are in my own race that communicate are communicating with humans who are most likely to take the information that is learned by them, whether it's through the direct understanding, telepathically, in the dream states, or through channeled states, and work with their consciousness directly and share information with them directly, knowing that they have the personality type, they have the mindset, and they have the social skills and behavior to be able to share this information either directly or indirectly. And regardless of how to share that information, it affects the most humans in the most positive ways. Now, we know that humans want to hold a level of sovereignty within themselves without external factors, but external factors aren't interference. Our own race has always believed this. External factors may be only what you call to you from your need and time, and that's important for you to know. This is very important for you to remember as a race. When you're calling out for help, and we come along to help, we are not infringing on your right to be broken or miserable or emptied inside. When you're calling for help because you feel hopeless and feel broken and feel disconnected, then we are here. You have created us to come to you. And it's important to know because some races interfere without your calling them. And even though they can't always work at the level of interference or help without your calling on them, some races hold very strong powers of manipulation of willpower, and also can carry very neglectful emotion bodies for the response of the humans to their energy. And reptilian beings have been a part of that with humans, for those reptilian beings whose intentions were to harm, to dishonor, to disconnect, or to dissuade humans from joining their spiritual path. Now, the reptilian race is not the only race of beings that have done this with humans and with Earth, but we're not here directly for a history lesson. We want you to know about yourself now, and this is important. Now, humans in their growth cycle are very centered towards a desire to be sovereign and to understand what's happening inside of their planet and what's going on with the changes that they are seeing. Well, we know that most of you are intellectually smart enough to understand that many things that happen inside of your planet are done for reasons. We understand that most of you are smart enough to see that when these things happen, and happen in large scale and to large numbers of you, most of the time it's to create a sense of fear for you. What does fear do to humans? Fear brings a feeling of separation. Fear brings the possibility to enter your energy field or to take part of some of your own emotional and mental energy. And fear also divides you more from the higher self than what you have. The higher self is the most dangerous weapon from the perspective of a race of beings who may want to interfere with you or who may want to interfere. Fear itself is their weapon of choice. And when you have a connection to your higher self, that is both a defensive object, a shield to protect yourself from that direct attack, but also a countermeasure, a tool of your own, a weapon of your own, a sword to cut the ties of energy that may be bound to you. Now, how do energies become bound by other races? Ask yourself a different question. Ask yourself instead, how do energies become tangled in human-to-human interaction? Humans want the big answers. Humans want the large perspective, but you can't have that until you have the small perspective figured. And this is not an insult to you to say that you can't think that bigly, or that you can't think that smartly. It's only a testament and a perceiving from us that shows you always wanting to know what happens in the universe, what happens in higher dimensions, but you already have the answers right in front of you. You have the answers on Earth and in an earthly experience, and still refuse to hold those specific examples to your knowledge base to help you extend beyond that. So answer the small question first. How do energies become tied inside of humans? This answer is very simple for all humans. Two consciousnesses spend time around one another. It doesn't have to be intentional. It doesn't have to be desired, but it is a proximity. Beings who you work with, who you dislike, beings that you live around, that you may like or dislike, and beings who you work with, who you despise, these beings all still affect your energy. Why? Because they are around you. Now, take the strongest emotions that humans have. That is hatred, and that is love. So take a human relationship where the strong sense of hate is felt. That strong sense of hatred will actually create more shift of your energy when being in the presence of that person. This person will actively affect your aura field, your chakra field, your emotion field, your mental field, your timeline creation, and your timeline co-creation, more than any other human who you feel mildly about, or who you feel centered about, or who you are disassociated with. Think strongly how those you dislike or hate the most can affect who you are the most. Now go into another direction. Go into the opposite spectrum of the same idea. Go into the very depths of the different aspect, the other strongest emotion, the most strong emotion, if it is a true and true powerful emotion, and that is love. Now, what happens when you are in proximity to someone you love? You become yourself more easily. You feel connected to another being more strongly, more quickly, more wellly. And then you are able to see yourself in them, see them inside of yourself. You have reflection and capability now. Anger doesn't give you reflection unless you are being open enough to see it, but most humans can't. Even very strong-minded humans mostly cannot see that reflection inside of anger. Not when the anger is present, not when the anger is in the front of the mind, But when the love is present and when the love is in the center of the mind, that love is able to reflect very fast. So this is important to perceive. These two strong emotions that are so opposite, attach yourself to the energies of other humans the most and the most strongly. So what does this tell you about other dimension beings, higher dimension beings, other worldly beings, other collective beings? It tells you that when you use the strong emotional strengths or strong emotional weaknesses, that those groups and races will be the ones to most highly affect you. Humans have strong fear for reptilian and insectoids. This is why they are able to most affect your energy. Humans have strong love for other humanoid races, certain Pleiadian races, certain Sirian, Arcturian, Andromedan races. So these races affect your love strongly. These races support your support strongly, and these races place the possibility of opening reflections inside of you. This is why I have said, when you look at the small of human to human, you can then see the large, race to race, galactic to Earth, or Earth to galactic. Now, when you look at your history as a race, the time periods that were 700 AD time of your history periods, you will notice that there are still records of gods speaking to the non-Christian authoritate and the non-Christian beings who were considered pagan by Christian ritual. And the pagans that existed mostly in the islands of Europe, in the northern islands of the countries that humans call England, Scotland, Iceland, Ireland, and the Norwegian area, and the Swedish area, and the Finnish areas. These areas were where our races worked in approximately from the time period of 4000 BC and worked at distances from around the time period of 1000 BC until the 5 to 700 AD. We worked in the background with telepathy at that time, mostly with the humans at this place, and physically creating physical bodies or avatars of our consciousness to enter and interact with humans up until approximately 1000 to 700 BC. And by doing that physically and interacting with humans, we came to know the humans well. They came to know us. And in fact, through Christian mistranslation, through the pagan form of god and goddess archetypes that they chose from their rich tapestry of different archetypes previous from their history, the gods, as the Christians would then come to call them, these archetypes were built from archetypes of our first contact in initiates with dealing with human consciousness. After the DNA changes in near the 5000 BC region time, This is where human interaction was important for our race to hold in association in both ritualistic ways, but also communicative ways. It was important for the human race to communicate in face-to-face ways, for that is how trust, rapport, and communication could be built. Understanding was most important. We had seen many other races come to Earth, and even in less than one full generation, there would be praises to these beings as all-knowing and powerful gods. Even when the specific beings that would work with them were told, we are not in charge of you. We are only here from the stars. We are here from these different realms, and we are here only to assist you because we love you, because we see the place that you are. We see how your whole evolution was guided by external hands. We want to give you the power back to put that evolution into your hands. So this was an important and truly essential path for us to take, in the only way that humans could understand is the face-to-face meetings with us and the face-to-face rapport building with us, to see our technologies, to see our abilities, and also be able to look at the entire picture differently, and still it to work just as we hoped it didn't, where after leaving, humans would decry us as non-beings and only deities. And this defeated the purpose of the visitation, so we would create more visitations, and onward the cycles would happen. And that wasn't an appropriate way for us to have that communication with humans. The greater purpose of these communications were to let you know the powers you had bestowed in you from the DNA of our race. The power of telepathy is built in your DNA, the power of expansive conscious mind thought and mental pattern opening that is especially ingrained in technology, both internal and external forms of technology, but also problem solving, also discernment, also skill of deeper understandings, and that was vital to our race for humans to know. So we spent the time communicating and continuing to that communication style until eventually we saw that it wasn't good for any of us to be around humans. And even though there was a larger ban of all races coming to that Earth planet at any scale from around 12,700 or 13,100 BC of your time frame, we still continued to come in and visit with just that local area. And this local area turned to be one of the areas that we were working with the most, because these beings appeared most like our physical appearances in the avatar state. And when we were in the avatar state, we looked very European to them and very Nordic to them. And our lineages are similar to that, and that's why we worked strongly to create that experience. Now, we will take you out of the past and into your present, the present of this moment, the present that is important for humans, and that present is to sustainably know yourself without interference, without dedication to a cause that is beyond knowing yourself. Yes, we know some of you want to change the world, some of you want to clean the waters, create free energy, and we are not saying don't do those things. What we are saying is create an open experience inside of yourself first, so that any of those other things can have assistance to them after you have found yourself. We are no use to you if you can't find yourself first. Our race is no use to you if you can't look inside of your own inner knowing and inner heart, because we have nothing to offer to give to you. And even if there was something to give to you, there is no way for you to receive it, because you cannot receive yourself. Remember, going back to the small things when you are trying to find the large answers. Could you be helped by us? Yes. But are you able to help yourself first? And if the answer is no, then the answer is no for both. We want to continue working with all of you who want to work with us. My own name is important. My own name brings you there, and that is Desraeld. Desraeld. Now, the name of our race is a very short name and hard to pronounce for the human tongue, but it's closest in Raelgo. And Raelgo with a G and R sound. And if you're able to call on the race, then the representatives who are always listening for incoming communication can be there. But call upon me. Even if there are thousands of you who call on me at one time, I am able to hear that. And your time experience is linear. Mine is fluid. I will be able to reach back to each of you individually at the time that is perfect for you, and still be able to do it in my own time, on my time perspective. It's important to integrate rituals. The rituals that we used while with humans on Earth were one set of rituals, but these rituals must be your rituals. So we want to teach you some ritual way to bring a better connection to our race. Yes, the name is important. Yes, the recognition of the desire of yourself also is important. If you are asking for your consciousness to be connected to, make sure that you're open to have your consciousness connect with us, the big and the small. And remember that our own consciousness being available, it is available even if our race were to leave reality tomorrow. And that is because it's inside of your DNA as a human race. We have the shared DNA of our own parental race. We have our own DNA from shared DNA that's also inside of you. Call upon that if you have problem feeling. And now we will share with you a technique.